Hello again there, everybody. This is going to be John League number 67. A few changes from League 66. I am playing a second copy of Corsair of Krufix in the sideboard. Originally pretty skeptical of this card just because its power level isn't at face value ridiculously high. But I played it last league, and the matchup where I wanted it and I saw it, it was very good. I played 2 lands off of the top and grew Tarmogoyf, both of which contributed easily to me winning. So I'm just going to play another copy to see if we can find it more often in matches where we want it, to just continue trying it out, and maybe it is as good as I'm hoping it is. In the main deck, I went back up to 4 copies of Dark Confidant and 1 copy of Ren and 6, so I just did a 1-for-1 split. A 1-for-1 swap. I was 3 Confidants, 2 Ren and 6s before. People insist that Ren and 6 is this insane powerhouse. I think it has the potential to be, but right now I think it's far from that. Pretty much every time I've seen this Ren and 6, I've just wished it was a Dark Confidant. So I'm just going to max out on Dark Confidants, and since I can't play 5, I'll play 1 Ren and 6. I guess the one other atypical thing about this deck, or this list specifically, which is similar to the last league, is I'm playing 7 1-mana removal spells. You'll see in the current Modern Metagame breakdown in a sec that I think cheap interaction is at a premium right now, and for a further indicator of that is I'm playing the standard 6 1-mana hand disruption spells, so 13 ways to interact on just a single mana. So I was mentioning Modern Metagame breakdown, here it is. Burn is in at 1st, Blitz is in at 3rd, Heliod Company in at 4th, Death and Tax is in at 5th, Jun Shadow in at 6th. All of these, I'm going to really want a critical mass of ways to interact on 1 mana, so that way we can pull ahead with their more powerful spells and hopefully start double spelling sooner rather than later. Blue-white control, things like Bolt and Push, obviously less good, but I mean, still a huge chunk of stuff that I really want it for at the top tables. I would like to avoid Dredge, Tron, Eldrazi Tron, but everything else I'm feeling pretty confident in, so I think overall a pretty okay field for what I expect to be running into with this particular list. Alright, let's jump into it. Oh, and I have a cool new streaming tool / recording tool that'll pop up in a second. You'll see it pretty soon. What's the game plan versus the Heliod lists? Kill only what matters unless you've got an excess of removal. Like if you only got a couple of removal spells, you really got to save them for the combo pieces. And by combo pieces, I mean only the non-indestructible half. But if they're just going to be playing like a bunch of I forget the 2/2 that like is a hardened scales. If they're just gonna be playing a bunch of those and you only have like 1 or 2 removal spells, but you have Glyph Stonewalling, then like you just save removal for what's important. All right, this is better. On the draw, this is pretty shaky, but we're on the play, so much better. There you go. You can see the record indicator has popped up, so that's a new thing that I've found. Thanks KO Diamonds for pointing me towards it. I think I'm ditching Croxa here. I want the 2 sticky threats with the Liliana. I am glad you think so. I like it because it's a browser source. Like there's a very specific hyperlink that like is linked to each player. It's literally just like it's a similar link for everyone, but then it's like / the username. So since it's an internet link, it doesn't show up when I'm not in a match. So like when you saw when I was doing the deck tech, it didn't show up, which is nice because it doesn't cover screen needlessly. But then as soon as I start a match, it pops up because it's an empty browser until something happens, which is pretty nice. So, Wooded Foothills, Steam Vencer Visions. If this was a blue fetch, I could be thinking Storm, but I'm not sure what a Steam Vents off of a Foothills means. If they're playing Blood Moon, I would assume they'd be playing non-red fetches to get their own basics. Unless that's like their 9th fetch or something. I'm not going to play around Blood Moon just yet, given the Switted Foothills, and I think I'm going to go Overgrown Tombs because I've got black and green stuff. And then I'll lead on Dark Confidant. They could bolt it, which would be unfortunate, but it is what it is. I think before anything, I want to get the card advantage game going, and then if they spend their turn killing the Dark Confidant, it's a higher likelihood that we can sneak into Liliana. So there's an upside to even having it getting bolted. All right, so let's get Blood Crypt. Say yes. It could be 4-color Omnath, in which case I really want to be playing this Dark Confidant and just hope they don't have the Ren and 6. But if they don't have the Ren and 6, this Bob is going to be good. And if they do have a way to remove it that isn't Ren and 6, like I said, we get to sneak in Liliana. Oh, I just realized when I pop out the box, it looks a little less elegant. Let's see if I can fix that. I'm still new with this. Let's try moving it a little bit. How's their look? Maybe. That's good. Alright, yep, so they're doing the thing. Basic Mountain. Curious. Alright, another land is fine. Gonna avoid getting basic Forest for Croxa purposes. Maybe I just play the Peatland, take the life. I'm gonna be tapping this next turn for Bloodbraid anyway, so let's just get this down. And then between what I want to discard, I think I'm just gonna be discarding Tarmogoyf. Tarmogoyf is probably one of my better threats versus a Bolt deck, but I want to guarantee I can cast Bloodbraid next turn, I think. And like, even if I find the land next turn anyway, I'm just going to play Bloodbraid and plus discard the land. Another mountain. This could very easily be Is It Prowess, and they just like haven't played a creature yet. The Liliana will be in the way. That's fine. I get to use it as a removal spell. All right, and it is it Prowess. So if they've got a burn spell, they can shoot Liliana down. That works too. So yeah, they have to kill the Liliana, so I don't just kill their thing. And they've got to be threat light, right? Ooh, Kolaghan's Command. Alright, so I could try to go for the Kolaghan's Command to kill the Sprite Dragon. Obviously, any removal spell will have... Any spell will have the Sprite Dragon outgrowing it. That makes me want to go towards just casting Bloodbraid Elf because it'll at a minimum add to the board. Although this is the one window where Kolaghan's Command is going to be guaranteed to be able to kill this. And not even guaranteed. I think it's too much of a blowout. For this Kolaghan's Command to not kill the Sprite. So I think I'm just going to get basic Swamp. Awkward actually can't escape Croaks anyway. But I mean, it hasn't come up yet. So let's just get the Swamp. Cast the Bloodbraid. And if this hits like a Goyf or something, I'll be happy. I mean, like, if it hits like Liliana, I guess would be best case. But I mean, like, push Bolt also fine. And there's the Croaks, so just as I say, it hasn't come up yet. Oh, when I have 6 or more cards? I mean, yeah, it might, but I mean, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. I can always adjust the size or try moving it. They discarded Vapor Snag. Sure. Alright, can't block, let's attack. Yeah, I mean, I got to imagine that they have a way to protect this. Like, it wouldn't be completely wasted because I can buy back Tarmogoyf, but that's probably too slow. And like you can see here, this is one of the reasons why I like taking Kolaghan's Command out in the matchup. It's just way too fragile, and it costs too much mana to get blown out by anything. Gonna be difficult. They split the difference. Oh gosh. They're on a Reveler build. Alright, well, I'm dead. I'll see what I draw, but I'm definitely dead. So push only hits dragon. I can maybe combine Kolaghan's Command with the block to kill the Reveler, and then like maybe I can kill Stormwing. But I mean, they've got 4 fresh cards going into their turn, so the odds of that happening are less than 1%. Alright, so any other spell, and I can't even kill this Reveler, and I'll concede to the next spell, because then I can't even kill the Reveler with a block and a 2 damage. Like, I could crack Peatland, but Peatland, whatever I draw off of it also doesn't. Like, it would have to be another Bolt or a Push, and Bolt and Push kill neither of the other 2 creatures, so it kind of just doesn't matter. Alright, we want Spell Bombs. They're on a Reveler build. I like the Brutalities a good amount. They only do 2 damage, similar to Kolaghan's commands. But this costs 2 mana, which is a lot less than 3, even though it is sorcery speed. And the other 2 modes can be relevant. So, I mean, I still think it's significantly better than Kolaghan's command. On the play, I like keeping at least some of the Bobs. Wrenn and 6 does actual nothing, as it usually does. I don't know that Courser is going to be fast enough. Gaining 2 or 3 points probably doesn't do enough. Maybe Huntmaster is good. I'm definitely bringing in these 6. Unsure of Huntmaster. Thoughtseize is a tricky one because like it takes the Bedlam Reveler and the Stormwing. But I mean, 2 life is 2 life. I think I'm going to give that a go. I'm pretty happy I have 4 bolts because this is probably our best way to kill Reveler after Pulse. Or sorry, kill Stormwing Entity. But again, literally any spell saves it, so it's going to be tricky. Alright, so I guess we can see if the thing covers my hand now, right? Because I'll have 7 cards. Yeah, I've been thinking about going back to my old layout where like the chat box like extends out to the edge of my frame, and then I just like have it covering this stuff, so like you'll still get to see the entire screen, but now that I've got like other gimmicks like this box and like the chat's a little awkward, like I might just go back to that. I like what I currently have because like you can see basically everything, but I mean it's starting to get a little sloppy. Secret layer redeemables, I appreciate it. I didn't know that was a thing. I'll have to look into it. Thank you. Yeah, let's go first. Alright, so is it covered? You can tell what it is, though. It's not so bad. I have, more often than not, less than 7 cards in hand, so it's probably fine for now. This hand, though. I think this is a mulligan. Only one way to interact on, like, before 4 mana is way slow. Sure. I mean, we've got 2 mana way to interact, 3 mana way to interact, so I guess it's a keep. And then the opponent has also mulligans. So, I mean, with the opponent mulliganing, the argument for Kroxa gets stronger because Brutality and Liliana are additional ways to attack the hand. I think I'm just going to bottom Bloodbraid because it's expensive, and I want to keep everything low to the ground. Also, Kroxa is probably one of our better ways to win. It hits pretty hard. So, am I playing around Blood Moon now? It's awkward because if I get basic Forest with Foothills, it makes it pretty difficult to escape Kroxa. My gut says I'm not playing around it just because if I do play around it, my hand is not going to be good enough. So, I hate to say that I'm on the plan of hope they aren't playing it and or don't have it, but I think that might be the plan. And we did see Wooded Foothills game 1 as opposed to a blue fetch, so that makes me a little bit more comfortable because I would think they've got mostly blue fetches, but I guess that's not the case if they need everything to fetch a mountain. All right, so I guess I'm not playing around it. Pretty scary. If I find a black fetching fetch, then I'll probably get basic Swamp. Push is a nice pickup. I think I'm just gonna play Kroxa here. Try to use everything in my hand that has the potential of killing something to actually kill something. Because they're pretty threat dense, and I'm gonna want to be able to kill everything I see. And being on the play is big here, because like if they have Storming Entity on 2, we have Liliana to Edict it. Sure. Alright, so we're in a pretty weird situation here because I would love to just Brutality this thing to kill it, but then we get blown out by like a Mutagenic Growth or a, I guess not a Gut Shot. But it's so bad for us if they've got it. I could Liliana Edict. Okay, that's good. I could Liliana Edict, but this is my only good way to kill a Stormwing Entity or a Bedlam Reveler right now, so I think I need to save the Liliana for one of those two. Inquisition is nice, as it could show us what's up. And if they don't have it, then I can Brutality to kill this, and then if they do have it, I'll just play this, Peatland, and then pass, and then wait for them to do some game actions before pushing it. So Inquisition is a pretty nice one here. Alright, they don't have it. They do have Reveler, though. That's scary. I think I'm going to take their cantripping spell. I don't want them steamrolling into, like, snowballing into more spells, especially because Bedlam Reveler is a good thing I don't really have an answer to right now. I mean, Bolt would kill Liliana after an Edict happens, but I think I'm okay if they're throwing a Bolt at Liliana. And Aether Gust doesn't hit anything in my hand right now. It has the potential of messing with my Kroxa, but I'm hoping the Liliana can work their hand before that happens. So let's, I think, just take Manamorphose. And then I could escalate this Brutality, but I like both cards in my hand, so let's just give this thing -2/-2. And say go. And then it looks like Kroxa's going to be our route to victory here, but again, going to be worried about Aether Gust. Alright, and land is a good find for us. Spell Bomb. Okay, Spell Bomb is interesting because that can help defeat the Bedlam Reveler, or at least make it a lot worse. And I think I'm just going to go ahead and play the Spell Bomb with the intention of cracking it on my opponent's end step. I don't think I want to play the Liliana here because I like both cards in my hand, and if I don't plus it, it just gets bolted. Alright, and if they play Blood Moon, so be it. Bolt me. Okay, this could mean Storming Entity has been found, which we have Liliana for. Okay, so I'm pretty happy that we saved Liliana, and then we're gonna get to use the Liliana to Edict it. I mean, I did find the Inquisition, meaning that I didn't have to gamble the Liliana, but like I mentioned, the plane was never to Liliana the Sprite, because we needed the Liliana for this. Alright, they split the difference. Alright, so we can cut off this Reveler. Say yes. Bob's a good one, especially when they're so on empty already. Alright, so we get to untap. And Verdant is actually very nice. We can get basic Swamp to play around the Blood Moon, which is now kind of free, as opposed to before it wasn't free. We can play Liliana, hold up push, and play around the Blood Moon. And this is the 4th land to escape Kroxa next turn. So all in all, very good. See you later, Spunky. So if they've got a hasty threat to try to finish the Liliana, I could push it. Obviously, that one isn't going to work. Pretty unfortunate, because I was hoping this Liliana could start plussing, so that way we can beat the Aether Gust. I might just escape Kroxa anyway, because it's going to take care of both the Gust and the Reveler, and we're going to ideally be able to get this thing fed back up again anyway. But I mean, we're on an empty board, so this is probably the best time to deploy a Dark Confidant, and it also makes sure that the opponent can't actually continue using what they've got. So let's deploy Dark Confidant. We're at a very healthy 13 with 2 removal spells in hand. Feeling good. And like, even if we flip a Blood Braid, I'm feeling like pretty okay here, because like that puts us to 9, which is still very healthy. Do I want to sacrifice a Peatland? Don't think so. I'm going to want all my mana to cast all the spells that Bob draws me. There's the Blood Braid. Hey, nice. Alright, I think I'm just Blood Braiding here. Get the clock going. Alright, so we're at 8 now. So now I'll be careful, but I still feel pretty good. Inquisition, pretty good. That can clear the way for Kroxa at a minimum. Gusting Blood Braid. I'm going to put it on the bottom just because we know we would flip it to the Bob. Jeez. Alright, well, if they spell into Stormwing, we've got a bolt for it. I would like a land off of this trigger, though. 2 big things in a row would be pretty bad. Alright. Excellent, I guess. Alright, so their hand is Stormwing, Bedlam Reveler. I guess I'm just casting Kroxa. Kroxa's gonna finish this game much faster than a Blood Braid would. I could shock to hold up removal, but then I'm going to 5 with the Bob in play, and that's much more precarious. So I think I'm just going to lead on Escape Kroxa. If the one card that I don't know about is another Aether Gust, it'll be unfortunate, but it's literally just one card I don't know about. They've got instant creature. I'm going to keep Artifact Planeswalker if possible. I guess sorcery as well, but it's pretty likely that we add another sorcery sooner than Artifact and Planeswalker. Cool. Alright, and I am going to play the Blood Crypt tapped, of course. So, like, to lose this game, something freaky would have to happen. Like, I'd have to flip one of my 2 remaining 4s. And they'd have to have a Bolt or something. And one of my 4s is on the bottom, right? Because I haven't shuffled. So it's literally just Huntmaster that I'd have to hit. And then they'd have to have Bolt, which they don't have. I guess they could flip it. So, feeling pretty good. Alright, so just don't flip the Huntmaster and I'll feel excellent. Verdant, cool. Alright, well, I guess I'm gonna lead on Bloodbreed. Okay, cool, yeah. Yeah, because if I play Bloodbraid there, I'm attacking for 11, they're at 12, and then the Bolt in hand just kills them. On the draw, Dark Confidant gets worse. It's possible that I just bring the Thoughtseizes back in to hopefully break serve with one of their more busted starts. What do I think about the Temur Moon deck? I haven't thought about it a lot, but I imagine it's okay. Like, I know Blue Red Moon has been putting up a few good results recently. Alright, so on the draw, I do think I'll cut the other Dark Confidants. They're probably just a little too slow. Like, that Dark Confidant that we had was good, but only because we started with it at 13 life. And on the draw, it's much less likely we start that high when we get to stick the Bob. So I'm not excited about playing Thoughtseize here, but it's probably just the next best thing. I guess there's a consideration to playing Cleansing Wildfire, because if we do get Blood Moons, that could be a way to get out of it. Damping Sphere is interesting just to stop, like, the busted draws, but that seems way narrow. Most of their stuff is instant speed anyway, so they could just split it between turns. Let's try this. Yeah, I'll keep it. We've got 3 good removal spells and the lands to cast them all. Susceptible to Blood Moon. But like I mentioned, it's going to be kind of hard to play around it. They kept the 7. How lucky. Alright, so if they do end up having a Stormwing, we've got the Pulse for it, but it's going to hit us a couple times before we get to kill it. Another land is not what we wanted to see, but at least it's something that helps with the Blood Moon problem. I actually gave you a shout out, KO. When I said that I had a new tool that you helped me find, I definitely mentioned that you helped. Alright, I'm gonna kill this before damage. I don't want them to be able to light up the stage, but I wanted to give them maximum time to, like, commit more spells to the board. Yeah, it was weird dimension-wise, but it was fairly painless. I still haven't figured out the best place for it. But, I mean, we'll figure it out sooner or later. Alright, and no Stormwing Entity is big here. Come on, deck. Come on, deck. Alright, so that's at least interesting, because that's a way to fetch for a basic Swamp. So I think what's going to happen here is I'm going to play this and escalate Brutality some number of times. They could obviously have Mutagenic Growth, But if they do, I'm taking another spell out of their hand, and I will at least have taken 2 spells from the hand, assuming they've got 2, including mutagenic. Current placement's fine. I think so too. I mean, I had it so that what my like this wasn't popped out, so like it was like to the right, and like this was more to the right, and it looked good there too. But if I don't have this popped out, it's harder for like the viewers to see the full screen. Like my picture sometimes covers stuff, so I'm still not sure where I want it. All right, do I want to 3-mode it? If I 3-mode it, I'm discarding 2 lands. I mean, I would still have 4 lands though, which is plenty to do whatever I want. So I mean, I think I will. The life could come up, so let's just max this out, and then hope that they don't have mutagenic growth. And I want to keep Forest because of Blood Moon, and I think I want to keep Peatland because it cycles. Yeah. I'm not going to be making it very easy to escape Croxa. But this is the info I've got now. You like 3 modes here? Me too. So mutagenic would be unfortunate. They don't have it. Excellent. So they've got Burn Spell, Aether Gust, Light Up the Stage. I think I'm going to take the Light Up the Stage. It's the hardest card for them to cast, but that's not even true because they can just dart me and then light up. And I don't want them lighting up, so let's take that. Alright, and then pass. So we can kill the next thing that they do, but we still need to find a threat of our own. Oh, they found the threat. That's bad. We wanted them so badly to brick here, because like this thing is going to do some amount of damage unless we pulse it, but I was really hoping to save the pulse for something larger. So that was really bad. At least we still know the full hand. Then Lava Dart doesn't actually have a flashback mode right now. Inquisition is interesting. Inquisition's going to be good next turn as well. I think what I want to do is pulse this and then just continue hoping they don't find more threats. Alternatively, I could use Inquisition and use my other 2 mana to sacrifice Peatland to try to find action of my own, which isn't wild. Yeah, like if we're not gonna do this, I'm definitely taking the Gust. But that has them outputting so much damage next turn, which makes me nervous. I think I'm pulsing and then just kind of slapping the top. I mean, like if their big draw is like a Stormwing entity or a Bedlam Reveler, they're not actually in the territory of casting it yet, so I guess it's just like the 1 mana things and more Sprite Dragons. That would be unfortunate. They're at 1 spell on the yard right now, so Bedlam Reveler is pretty far off. Yeah, because like if I let the Swift Spear live and they do decide to just go Bolt Dart, that's 7 damage. That's a lot to the dome pretty quickly, and then any future threat is going to be on its own ridiculously powerful. Yeah, most punish would be second Swift Spear off the top. That would be funny and unfortunate. Wow. Okay, that was probably our best case. I think I'm just paying the life to play it. They could obviously bolt the Bloodbraid, which would not be great for us. But I mean, they've got 2 answers to it anyway. Although Gust is not the answer they want to use, I still think I'm going to slam it. If we hit a removal spell, it'll be pretty awkward, but any other threat, and this is going to look really good. Like, this could be the turning point if we hit a threat. Alright, I mean, Inquisition is better than nothing. We could take the Bolt and at least start attacking, which is almost definitely a factor. Oh, wow. They've got a Sprite Dragon. This is rough, because like they do their 2 lands are islets, right? So every time they tap these things, they're taking life. And Lava Dart isn't flashbackable. It's kind of crazy, but I think I'm taking the Bolt because I want to race them here. Because like if they're not concerned about them losing the race, they're gonna have to deal with my Bloodbraid, which means they're not Sprite Dragoning. I think I'm taking Bolt. Because, like, if they're using a turn to Aether Gust instead of Sprite Dragon, I'm pretty happy with that. And, like, the spell composition in their hand and their life total and their lands makes me think I can win this race. Especially with an Inquisition as a leftover. Yeah, I don't think it's an easy dragon pick there. I think it's actually Bolt. Because like if I leave them with Bolt, they definitely Bolt Bloodbraid, and then I'm giving them so much more time, assuming I can't find another threat in my top 2 or 3. Because look, they're going to 8 to cast the Sprite Dragon. Bold choice. Let's see if it pays off. Alright, sure, you got a Sprite Dragon. Like, we're at 17, they're at 8. They've got 2 Fiery Islets. Alright, so I think I want to just lead on sacrificing Peatland. That'll give me information on what I want to take. And then I guess I'll just tap Forest. It'll be bad if I draw exactly Tarmogoyf. I guess I do just tap Swamp, but if any one spell I can cast off of these 2 things. So yeah, let's tap that way. There's the Tarmogoyf. So now Basic Mountain's been used, which is awkward. I guess I lead on Inquisition, just see what's up. Definitely want to cast this now to minimize the output of the Sprite Dragon. And they do have a Manamorphose, which is almost definitely the take here. And then we can play the land. We can attack for 3. And then do I want to fetch Shock to play a Tarmogoyf? That puts me to 14. I think I do, because if they Aether Gust the Tarmogoyf, that puts them to 3, and then Bloodbraid's just lethal. So like they're on the defense even if they have this Gust. So let's get second red. I guess second green. Is there any reason to have second green? No, let's just get Blood Crypt. Had I had Basic Mountain still in the deck, I'd just get that. Yeah, like they have to Gust and block, which seems like a good spot to be in. And like at the same time they're doing all of this, they're still taking damage off of Violet. Bold. Maybe they've just drawn a blocker. Oh, light up the stage. That's dangerous. Land, okay. So, I mean, now they can Gust one of our things, but the other thing just kills them. These Islets still did them, like, 10 damage. Yeah, I mean, if these aren't Islets, I agree with you, Element, and I should probably just take the creature. But given we've got a thing in play and another thing on deck, or hopefully on deck, we didn't actually know at the time. But I like being able to attack and really punish the opponent's life total when they're also just doing it themselves. Yeah, see, like this placement now it's kind of funky, right? It's just like in the middle of nowhere. Like I might just like put this back like under me or something, or I might like move myself back up to the top corner. And then like have the chat just like stick around under me. We'll figure that out later, I guess. I can toy with that after the league and the recording ends. Speaking of recordings, this is being recorded, and if you're watching on Twitch and you like content like this, you should definitely subscribe to my YouTube channel. All that information is right here. Let's go first. Hi, YouTube. Indeed. Oh, this hand would be so good with one more land, and they even revealed Luris. They're probably like a prowess deck. Oof, if I had Blackleaf Cliffs, this would be nutty, but I don't have a Blackleaf Cliffs. Okay, this is also very good. Given that they're playing Luris, I think I just want to keep all the cheap interactive stuff and bottom the Bloodbraid. I'm going to need to find another threat. But if I bottom a land, that puts me off of Bloodbraid. I think I'm bottoming Bloodbraid and trying to find another threat. It's that or a land. I could probably be okay with either. Oh, wow. It's, I guess black, red, burn. They got Bump in the Night, Light Up the Stage, Lightning Bolt, Wayward Guide Beast. I think I'm just going to take the Light Up the Stage. I don't want them drawing cards, especially out of a burn deck. Like, if they play their Wayward Guide Beast and hit me for 2 and they bounce a land back to their hand, like, I'm pretty okay with that. They drew a Swift Spear. Come on, opponent. What's with my opponents drawing Swift Spears? This card reads, take a good card from my opponent's hand. They're not allowed to draw good cards the rest of the game. Alright, so I guess I'm going to play Peatland here. Inquisition off of that, and then Bolt Swift Spear. Alright, so now the options are Bolt, Bump in the Night, Guide Beast. So Guide Beast has the potential for doing the most damage on its own. But I mean, any removal or just a thing to block it breaks that up. I think I'm just going to take a burn spell here, and Bolt, I guess, is the better one. Because that can hit creatures. And then I could actually just cast Inquisition again to just take the next creature. But I think Inquisition might be better used for when the opponent puts Lurrus into their hand. But that's not going to happen very quickly if they've got this Guide Beast. Yeah, I'll just do this again. And then now I'll take the Guide Beast. Alright, so their hand is... I guess I didn't clear it in time. Here we go. This is their hand. Shocking. Scourge. They're drawn pretty well. I mean, at least it's still in Bolt range. It's not going to be next turn, so now I have to point the Bolt at that. Okay, so still have to kill this while we can. Their hand is Bump, Blood Crypt, so this is the only window to do this. Alright, Lurrus in hand. And I might just have to save the Bolt for that. Let's see what we find, obviously. Swamp. Not great. I mean, Swamp can cycle the Peatland, which I guess I just lead on. Like, if I find a Tarmogoyf or something, I'm probably going to want to play it. This takes me off of the 4th mana for Blood Braids, but we don't have any of those yet. Liliana is really good, though. So, I could be in danger to... something... Like, if I don't pull this now, like, maybe they're playing Lava Dart or something, which could mess me up. But if they just go, like, land, Lurrus, replay everything, that's really bad for me, too. Alright, so then I have to respond to first thing. So they can't just, like, throw 2 more things at me in response, and then their Swift Spear lives. Alright, so the flashback on this is 6 to keep in mind. Dang. Land. Okay, that's good. That gets them closer to Bump in the Night, funny enough. Goyf is really good. I need to start closing this game, and if I plus, I'm ditching my Goyf, so I think I'm just Goyfing here. And if the opponent could very easily just go Lurrus and do a creature, which would be bad. I think we're losing this pretty handily. It's going to be hard to beat this Lurrus. They get to go like Lurrus into Scourge. And then Edict isn't very good. Gonna need to find a way to spot kill Lurrus. Yep. That'll do it. So I guess I just have the opponent discard. It's the only other good mode. So if they don't have another threat, maybe Liliana can kill their Scourge, but I'm still pretty worried about this Bump in the Night. They discarded Seal of Fire. I do not have an attack. And as much as it sucks, I think I have to block. I have to stay healthy. Like, if I don't block, I'm taking 7 going to 6. I know of Bump in the Night. They have 2 cards. I think I just have to hope that neither one of their leftovers is another creature. Crap. Crap. Alright, well. It was never in the cards then. Right on time. Alright, we're dead. Pretty interesting burn deck, though. Alright, so Brutality gonna be excellent. I guess Huntmaster is fine. They're playing Bump in the Night, so like maybe Spellbomb has some amount of value. And the Plague Engineers are not exciting, but they are gonna trade for any creature. Unless they throw a burn spell at it, which is also probably fine. Renin 6 is terrible. Dark Confidant bad versus burn. I guess I'm taking out Thoughtseize as well. This has me needing to cut 2 if I want all of these. I think Spellbomb is probably a bit excessive. Maybe I just don't want all 3. Oh, Corsair, I forgot. How could I forget? It just went right past my eye. Alright, so maybe I just take out the spell bombs. I just like completely forgot Corsair existed. Gonna have to be careful of the mana situation between Kroxa and Corsair. I think I'm gonna cut a Kolaghan's Command. It kills the least, is the reasoning for that. It does kill Lurrus, though, which is definitely a factor. I mean, we've got lots of things that kill Lurrus, though. We're also bringing in Brutality, which does it. How could I forget Corsair? Gotta make them Goyfs thick. You know, if I have a Spellbomb and a Corsair in the graveyard with all the other normal stuff, I'm only missing Tribal. Mulligan to Corsair. I'm gonna mulligan to 1 if I have to find a Corsair. I just draw 3 lands. It'll be okay. Oh yeah, if I could gain life to kill Scourge, that would be really funny. I think Corsair is going to be a bit too slow for that to happen. Like, by the time they're playing Scourge, I'm probably at, like... I guess it's their life total that matters more. Them fetching and shocking, I doubt it's going to matter. Let's go first. Let's see that turn 2 Goyf, turn 3 Corsair with a discard spell. Wow, this is close. So if I can find a green source, this hand is very good. I think I'm gonna gamble it. I mean, I've got sideboard cards that are very good, and maybe it's better just mulligan to those. But I have one way to interact. I mean, if I don't find green exactly on my next turn, we don't do a lot. But if I do find it, how many success rates do we have? Not Raging Ravine. Not other Blood Crypt. Not other Blackleaf Cliffs. That's 5 lands that don't do it. So 7 lands don't count out of 23. That's 16 successes and 53. That's like what, 35-ish%? That's less than that. It's like 30%. I think it's a bit risky. I'm gonna feel really bad when my next hand is worse. Okay, this hand's fine. Keep this. I guess I'll ditch. The opponent is also mulligan, by the way. I guess I'm just gonna ditch the Plague Engineer, and then I can get Swamp if I want to on turn 1 to cast a push. I would love to get this ravine down so next turn I can cast Croxa and attack the hand. But that means I'm not casting Push on turn 2 either, and it's pretty likely I want to be casting Push here. So I guess I'll just Verdant on 1, plan on getting Swamp, and then next turn I'll play Ravine. If I hit something nutty like a Goyf, I'll always have the option of playing Peatland and just like pay a life. Oh, I'm out of water. Bummer. Alright, I doubt they're playing Mutagenic Growth. Let's just not make our opponent go through all the clicking. Alright, that land is good. That means we can Croxa now. Although, if I play Ravine now, we can play Courser if we draw it next turn. But then we're not Blood Braiding on 4. It's probably just best to play all my spells when I can. Like, there's, I guess, argument to holding Croxa because I can maybe cast it when the opponent has fewer cards in hand. They have fewer options. I don't have anything to do next turn, so drawing like an Inquisition, a Bolt, a Push, or even a Thoughtseize would be good. Uh-oh. Alright, well, give me a land. Give me 2 lands. Crap. Oh my god, that sucks. Alright. Go. Damn it, deck. Why are you the way you are? I mean, I'm still going to cast Bloodbraid, I think. Unless I find, like, a Brutality on top. There's the Inquisition. Jeez. Skewer, Soulscar, rough. On another light up. Jeez. Jund mana, yep. We're not like you. We don't get triomes, okay? Life is hard for us Jund players. Alright, so they've got a Skewer on deck. They don't have a way to necessarily enable the Spectacle. We've got Inquisition on top. I mean, it's still probably just Bloodbraid here. I could play land, play Courser, go to 10, play Inquisition, but their hand is empty, so that actually just doesn't do anything. So I guess it's Hail Mary time. We could hit like a Maelstrom Pulse. That's still in the deck. Decay. I guess that hits Soulscar. I mean, I guess they're not actually guaranteed to have spells to trade. I mean, they could just hard cast this. They've got backup Soulscar as well. At least Goblin Guide can take lands off of my deck. I think I will kill Soulscar. Actually, no, it doesn't matter. I'm like trying to maximize what if I draw Maelstrom Pulse. But like whatever I kill, they're just going to have 2 of a threat anyway. So if they're going to have 2 of a threat, I guess I'd rather them have Soulscars because at least that needs spells to attack for more. So I'll hit a Guide. And then I'll hang back on blocks, but not expect it to work. And this might just get skewered. We'll get hit for 4. Yep. I mean, so I'll go to 6. I mean, if they somehow aren't able to find actual spells, we've got Bolt on top. Okay, Bolt's good. So I can play Courser. Alright, so maybe a misstep is that, like, had I killed the Soul Scar, I could kill Soul Scar again, and then a burn spell would not have me not trading with Guide, so that was probably a mistake. I guess I pass. I need to be able to bolt something. Yep. Not dead yet. We need like a brutality really quickly. Oh, we know Tarmogoyf's on top, but yeah. So we go to block. And then we die to any burn spell, but that was always the case. I think I have to let their prowess triggers resolve, because then they don't make the attack with a guide, and I can't kill that too. Shortios, thanks for the follow. I appreciate it. So, I mean, they still at a minimum get to put Luris in their hand. Unless they forget. Which it looks like they have. Land on top. Bloodbraid on top. I can escape Kroxa. Is that better than Tarmogoyf? I could sacrifice Peatland in hopes of having a land on top, but I mean the difference between 1 and 2 is basically non-existent. If I cast Kroxa, put the opponent to 11, I've got exactly an attack for 11 if they don't block. I mean, I still have to avoid the top of the opponent's deck, but Kroxa is a 1-turn clock, so I think I'm doing that. And then just knocking the top of my opponent's deck for a land. And then I don't think I'm attacking either, because then I'm dead to a hasty creature. So pretty likely dead here. But we can get lucky. I appreciate you saying so. Hey, they hit a land. Alright, but it looks like they remembered Luris this time. Alright, and they get to play it as well. Yep. We've got Bloodbraid, though. Maybe we can just kill them through it. Land on top. Bolt on top. So, is there any consideration to sacrificing Peatland to get access to that bolt? The 1 life off Courser? I guess. Opponent says XD, okay. So if I take Bolt into hand, bolt the Luris, and then I attack, the opponent is forced to block because Kroxa's trigger is going to put them to 6. Which means they have to block the Kroxa by itself, so I don't have to attack with Courser and die to a hasty creature. Alternatively, I could just cast Bloodbraid. It hits the Bolt. Bolt then targets Luris, I guess. We attack all. Opponent goes to 6. We can hit them for 5 down to 1, and we still die to a lot of stuff. So we can put them to 1. Or what? I mean, this Luris needs to die. So I think we have to hit this bolt one way or the other. It's just a question of, are we cascading into it? Or are we drawing it and playing Tarmogoyf? Well, yeah, the Luris is not blocking. It's going to get bolted before then. I just don't know if I want to sacrifice the Peatland for it or hit it off of Bloodbraid. You'd play Goyf. I mean, we're not dying to a haste creature either way, because we could just leave back Courser. Yeah, I think I want to draw the Lightning Bolt as opposed to casting Bloodbraid, because maybe there's a land on top. I mean, I guess there's some difference between 2 and 1. Like, maybe the opponent's playing Searing Blaze and they don't have landfall. I guess that's the tiebreaker if both things if both things are to be considered even. So this will draw a bolt. There is a land on top. Gain a life. We can bolt Luris. And then this forces block. And we've got Tarmogoyf as a follow-up. So let's just cast it now. So we still need to knock the top of the opponent's deck and get lucky. I don't think there was a way to play this without having a route to dying. Pass. Pass. What you got? Darn. Alright, you got me. Boo! Alright. Match 3. That was pretty close. I do think I did make that one misstep earlier when I killed a guide instead of a Soul Scar. It ended up not mattering, but still a mistake. Yeah, close indeed. Alright, I need the chat to vote on something. Do you like the text box better here? Or here? Let me know what you think. They revealed Luris. We're on the draw. This is a ship. On the play, this is fine, but I mean, Red and 6 does nothing. Bob is probably too slow on the draw versus a Luris opponent. We need to draw a land for Liliana's to be good, and that means we don't have more ways to interact. This is a ship. Much better. Alright, so I think I'm just going to ditch the Bob for similar reasons why I didn't like it last hand. You both feel like it on the bottom? Yeah, I think it's probably better on the bottom too, right? Because like in between screens when I'm sideboarding and it's still popped up, it's not just like floating in the middle of nowhere. So this, I think I like it better here as well. Thanks for the input. Look at the opponent's name. This is like the Spider-Man meme where they're just like pointing at each other. Kolagon's command. They're probably playing Jund Shadow, so it still counts. It's still Jund colors. I guess I'm shocking Overgrown Tomb, casting Inquisition. Mana's gonna be a little painful here, but I mean, if I shock this Inquisition now, I could always just Thoughtseize and get basic Mountain next turn. It's fake Jund. So they've got Shadow, Shadow, Bolt. Well, I guess I'm taking a threat. They could fetch Shock Bolt themselves and play a Shadow, right? That's 6, puts you to 11. They could play a 2/2, yeah. Interesting they're not fetching. Rude. I mean, maybe they just take Goyf. We don't know that they have a way to get rid of it. Oh, is this the Verdant they played? No, because that was on the draw, right? Okay. Definitely, I think want to kill this Bomat before it actually generates, like, an actual amount of value. Blackleaf Cliffs. Alright, that's fine, too. I guess I lead Thoughtseize. Gonna have to be careful of this Lurrus. So they've got Shadow and Bolt still. And the land. I mean, I don't have a good way of dealing with this Shadow. I think I'm just gonna take the Shadow. Like, I'm leaving them with burn spells, which is unfortunate, but I think I'd rather just use this as pseudo removal. And then if I get basic Mountain with this, I can't cast Liliana. So maybe I just shock to keep Liliana a good draw. I would go to 12 to do it. Doesn't feel great, but I'm gonna do it. And then I'll shoot this in response to a trigger, I think. Could still just be Rakdos Shadow. We don't actually know yet. So like they could bolt me and then activate Courier, which would be a way to, I guess, draw a card. Definitely responding to this though. I wonder if they bolt themselves to turn Shadow on, but I guess 2 of them are gone already. We beat the first matchup, which you were here for, and we just lost to a pretty cool Rakdos burn deck, playing Scourge of the Skyclaves and Bump in the Night. Alright, I guess they're just Rakdos. Lurrus to hand. Yep. Alright, so Kolaghan's Command is more than likely going to kill Lurrus and buy back a Tarmogoyf. And then I guess I should just play the Swamp to do it. If I end up wanting to discard a card for any reason, I save a life having not fetched. And then this Kolaghan's Command is going to be pretty good. Like, it's going to kill Lurrus. They're going to get to at a minimum play a Bobble. Oh, that's rude. That's really bad too. Really bad for us, because like now we don't have a good second mode on Kolaghan's Command. We almost just don't want to cast it, but then I'm not getting Goyf back. I think I just need to untap, try to find a push, or a Liliana here, or a Bloodbraid into either of the 2 would be best case. Not a land. That is not what I was hoping for. All right, land go. That was a big miss. It's like if I get back Tarmogoyf and like have the opponent discard a card, then I play Tarmogoyf here, I still have to chump with Tarmogoyf. It doesn't achieve anything. Yep. And if I die, I die. I'm not beating it anyway. Interesting that the opponent didn't like play Lurrus and just like play a Bomat Courier or something. Yeah, they say dang it. They said misclick. It'd be like that. So now I guess if they go Lurrus, Bomat Courier, I have to kill them both and then still try to find a way to kill the Scourge. And I think they should just play a creature here. Yep. So I guess I can buy back Tarmogoyf and shoot a Lurrus. If I can find a Fatal Push or an Abrupt Decay for the Scourge, my Goyf is bigger than the Death Shadow, at least temporarily. Okay. So you're telling me there's a chance. Should I play the Mire for any reason? I think I'm going to hold it. I'm never actually sacking it. I guess there's an argument for tapping slightly differently because I could bluff like Decay or Trophy as an additional spell. I need to hope that they attack both here. Okay. Block. Okay. Point, click, push? Question mark? Okay. Still need to find a way to kill Shadow. Maybe they aren't playing Team or Battle Rage, because maybe they just sack Canyon trying to find it. Yeah, I think they should have done that first. Alright, we still need a way to kill a Shadow, and then maybe we stabilize. That ain't it. That ain't it. Jund Shadow. For a reason very similar to what you just saw, I'm taking out Thoughtseize. I think there's still a good reason to have some number of hand disruption. This is probably a fine Courser matchup. Let's get Huntmaster in here. They're a Lara stack, so we want Spell Bomb. And then Engineer is going to trade with just about anything, so maybe that's good. Like, they can kill it, but they can kill pretty much anything. Renin 6 does nothing again. I don't know how many times I can say that. I'm gonna shave some bolts. They really only go to face, right? I guess they kill like Swift Spear and Luris, but we've got lots of ways to kill Luris. Do I want to cut a Kroxa? Maybe the opponent's bringing in Graveyard Hate of their own. I think I want to cut a Kolaghan's Command. Kolaghan's Command's best mode is probably going to be buy back a creature, but all the other 3 modes don't seem like they're going to do a lot. Like, 2 damage is not going to kill much of anything. It's pretty much only Luris, reliably. Where did my mouse go? There it is. Yeah, maybe Plague Engineer is just too cute. I think I want to keep all of my creatures that, like, attack profitably as opposed to just something that is in the deck for blocking. And again, I'm going to have to be wary of the mana situation. Let's go first. I mean, I guess it's a keep. We got one of each. We have the Tron. Natural Tron. So I'll lead Swamp, and then I guess Bob on 2. And then another black source for Liliana at some point will be nice. They did mulligan once. Rude. Alright, well, if they take a 2-drop, I'll just play the other one. They might just take Liliana out of fear of Liliana. Liliana is typically very good against them. Okay. And this could very easily indicate that they've got a removal spell, but it's kind of hard to not cast a creature. Unless I like draw a discard on my own, then it gets more interesting. Alright, I think I'm bobbing here. It's got the highest upside of living. I think pretty much all of the removal kills all of my creatures. I guess that's not true in the case of Lightning Bolt. But if Bob lives... Please, no Bolt. Please, no Bolt. I'm going to guess they take Tarmogoyf just because we've got 2 removal spells. Okay, maybe they have 2 of the same thing? Come on, I just want to trigger this Bob. If you bolt it, I'm going to be so sad. Like, okay, it wasn't unexpected. I'm still going to be sad. No! Dismember. Yeah, that works. Yeah, Dismember was gonna kill either one of my things. I guess Goyf is just like actually huge now. Now that they've added instant and creature and artifact and instant. I said instant. And planeswalker and sorcery. Give me a push. Alright, well, despite this being the one card they don't know about, I'm still gonna play it now. So if I draw a 4-mana creature, I can play it next turn. They know my hand, I'll yield. Oh, something that I did not mention, which I perhaps should have, is the opponent did not reveal Lurrus as their companion, so very likely they're playing Blood Moon. Liliana's a good draw. I mean, I guess I just lead on attack. Push would be expected here. No, okay. I guess they still could. It's entirely possible that I should hold this Liliana, because if the opponent plays like one creature with the intention of blocking, I could Liliana Edict. If I go Liliana plus discard Mountain, then they could bolt Liliana and it's no longer useful as an Edict. But I mean, I still have the Decay, so it's probably worth just getting the Liliana in. If I didn't have another removal spell, I think there's a very good argument for just holding it. Like, they dismembered my Tarmogoyf on turn 2, which I guess is a further indicator that they don't have the bolt, because they probably would have bolted it first before using Dismember, just because like Dismember kills more, like usually Tarmogoyf. But I mean, many turns have happened since then. Threat here would be huge. Alright, I think I'm just gonna cast both of my spells, put the opponent to 1. It turns off Sunbaked Canyon as a land and lets me continue plussing Liliana. Like, I could Edict them here, but then they still have a potential of bolting. But again, I'm pretty sure they don't have the bolt now, because they probably would have just bolted this to prevent an Edict. So, I think the proper way to do this is plus Liliana and then respond to it by casting both of my spells. Is there any reason to do it otherwise? No, right? I'll just cast both my spells. Sometimes my control key likes to pretend that I'm not holding control. So let's just not risk it and discard one of my things. But I think like the technical correct play would be to plus. And there's the moon. Okay, so the read was correct. The technically correct play would have been to plus and then just respond. Alright, well, we can Edict that. They're at 1. Any burn spell, any threat would be excellent. Cool. Let's do this first for style points. Kind of funny. We only have 2 bolts in the deck, and we just drew them back to back. Okie dokie. Do I want more bolts now that I'm on the draw? On the draw, it's completely possible that I do, because the opponent does play a Swift Spear, they play Bomat Courier. I think also playing more 1-mana removal makes things like Liliana better, because it's more likely Liliana can enter the battlefield and Edict onto an empty board, which is when it's the card's best. We saw the opponent is playing Blood Moon. We're on the draw. I think Courser probably just too slow while on the draw, especially because we saw the opponent is playing Blood Moon. use the other control key. I think it's a Magic Online thing, to be honest. I don't think it's my control key, because literally the only time I ever use my control key is to, like, copy paste or do this on Moto. It's the only function of my control key. Alright, so gonna have to be wary of Blood Moon. Wow, this hand's very good. We get to play around Blood Moon for basically free. Something I guess slightly awkward about that, but is always true on the draw, is that if we're getting Swamp and Forest first, that means we don't have Bolt mana until turn 3. They didn't reveal Luris again. Bomat, yep. So now I may be put in a spot where I have to think about what I'm prioritizing here. Like, I can get my mana, but then I'm not bolting. It's kind of rough. So in the event that the opponent has the Blood Moon, if I get basic Forest, can I win off of just that? I can cast Tarmogoyf now, and Tarmogoyf is pretty good, but they can very easily just, like, push. They used a Verdant last turn, which could have gotten a Swamp for them. It's risky. I think I really want to be able to kill this Bomat Courier and future creatures. So I think I'm going to take the gamble, just because not playing anything good until turn 3 is a pretty big price to pay. I mean, I guess they only get one more attack in, but then anything, like any hand disruption is really bad for me. Anything is really bad for me. I think I'm gambling it. So I'll keep up the Bolt, and then my next 2 land drops will be fetching for basics if I get that far off of a Blood Moon. Definitely gonna get basic Forest next turn, though. And we did bring Lightning Bolts in for game 3 on the draw, so one of these bolts very likely one of those bolts that we brought in. There goes Goyf. Please don't get a basic. That would make me think Blood Moon. Uh-oh. Yep. Wow, okay, so maybe they just really don't have a removal spell. Alright, so I guess in the event they've got Blood Moon, I think I want to play Verdant here. So that way I have a choice of what to fetch until the last moment. I don't see a reason to play Spellbomb yet. Maybe I should have even taken Spellbomb out since the opponent didn't reveal Luris game 2. Is it Blood Moon time? Hooray, it's not Blood Moon time. Alright, so I'm going to get to avoid the Blood Moon, which I'm going to assume is still in the opponent's deck, because again, they didn't reveal Luris like they did game 1. And they pretty aggressively took my creatures, so it makes me think they don't have removal, and they're also not playing threats of their own. So I'm not entirely sure what their hand could be if not for just more lands. Alright, so I'll upkeep, get basic Forest with this. Forest does not escape Kroxa, but I think not just immediately dying to a Blood Moon is a higher priority. And I guess I get Swamp now, because then I get to actually cast the Kroxa, have the opponent discard a card. Puts down Bolt, but I don't see a reason to need to keep Bolt up right now. Battle Rage, like, that makes sense. Like, now I'm gonna guess that the opponent's hand is either more lands, more removal, or more combat tricks, but I mean, there aren't that many tricks, so we can pulse the first thing that they do, which is nice. And they also don't have access to Luris, so pretty nice. Croaks of your own. Wow. Okay, I was not expecting that. I guess I'll ditch Bolt. I might need the Pulse to kill my opponent's Croaks after it escapes. They're a land off of doing it as well. I think I'm just going to hold that. If the opponent escapes their Croxa, I need to keep the Pulse in hand. And if I play Inquisition, I'm not going to have any other cards to discard. Yikes. Being 2 lands off of escaping is pretty unfortunate. You just like have to take Pulse here every time. We need to find like a Tarmogoyf or something. We took Inquisition? That's strange, but what could that mean? Peatland's actually kind of the perfect land to find, because it allows us to build towards Croxa, but if the opponent escapes the Croxa of their own, I could just sacrifice the Peatland in order to keep the Pulse. But I mean, taking Inquisition there is really strange to me. I don't know what that means they could have. Maybe it's just more removal, and they're hoping... I guess removal would make sense, right? Because, like, if I take a hand disruption of theirs, they can't kill my Croxa. But, I mean, Croxa is powerful and escapes. So... Oh, wow, Liliana. That's probably worth ditching the Pulse for. That's also just a way to deal with the opponent's Croxa. Gonna hope for like no Bolt here. Alright, and it was a push. Alright, so that makes sense why they Inquisitioned in that way. Scary. Alright, so now they can Croxa if they find the land and we don't have an Edict loaded for it. So, I mean, push and Bolt was literally worst case scenario. Shadow is pretty bad, too. I mean, if we can find a way to kill the Shadow, or at least block it for a turn, we can have Liliana Edict loaded back up. So any way to kill something would be excellent here, and there it is, right on time. That was really big, because now if they escape Croxa, at least we can fend it off for 1 cycle. Alright, there's the land. So they're going to get to Croxa. Scary stuff. We can kill it once. If we can kill it once more, then we should be safe for the time being. And I can't sacrifice Peatland, I don't think, because that puts me off of escaping my own Croxa. And the opponent is on the defense if we can escape ours. So any untapped red source. Ooh, that's really good too. Alright, so definitely have to kill first iteration here. Alright, and they're going to get to cast the spell, so Huntmaster isn't going to flip. But now they have to think about whether or not they can afford attacking. Right? Because we could, if they don't, we could just attack them, put them to 1, and then when Huntmaster flips again, it'll shoot them. So we're going to go to 10, which conveniently is not dead to a single attack from Croxa, even assuming we take 3 from it. Black's timely reinforcements. Alright, well that is not a way to play Croxa. So I think I'm just going to play it and pass. I don't think I want to sacrifice Peatland, because even if I draw a spell, I don't want to cast it. So I guess I'll just play it so it's not getting discarded. Alright, so flipping this is going to have the opponent getting put to 2. Also, if they want to attack, there's a non-zero chance we just want to block, because we are going to be doing 2 damage to it with the trigger, and then the other 4 can be dealt off the block. And then now that we have the tomb, now that we have the overgrown tomb, I can probably afford to sacrifice the peatland. And then I'll leave up Abrupt Decay mana when I sacrifice peatland. Alright, they're just trying to cycle this, I guess. Alright, now that they haven't attacked with Kroxa, I think I just do this now. Bummer. Alright, so you'll get to cycle this. I mean, if they cast another spell, Huntmaster is flipping again. Because they've cast Bomat Courier. I mean, if it's like a push or something, they could just do it on my upkeep. Alright, Huntmaster is flipping. Gain 2, make a wolf. That's game, right? Because I can escape Kroxa. Right, we've got red, red, black, black. You're at 3. Huntmaster pulled it out from under us. Doesn't matter what I exile here. Wow. What a game 3. That was insane. If you're not already following, and that game hasn't convinced you, I don't know what else will. So, you should follow. Yeah, Huntmaster has looked pretty good. We played a Jund opponent a couple leagues back where like Huntmaster flips like 4 times. That was a good game. We get to play first. We're already ahead versus Luris again, and this hand is pretty good. On the play versus Luris with Bob is a good feeling. There's a consideration, I suppose, to shocking, like a stomping ground, so I can bolt and then... Well, I guess, like, playing this tap, there's a consideration, right? Because then I can bob painlessly on 2, but I think I want to hold up bolt on 1. Yeah, I would agree with you, Spunky. I think the opponent wasn't thinking about that Huntmaster would flip again. Like, there's really nothing that I could have drawn that I would not have just played, right? I guess I only had 1 mana. Or I guess I had 2 mana, right? So, like, maybe they were hoping to hit a 2 mana creature, but, like, everything else I would have cast. So the opponent could most likely be on a Shadow variant. Also possible are Burn, Hammer Combo, and Bogles. Yeah, hammer time. That's what I meant by hammer combo. I think while my opponent is tanking on their turn 1 play, I'm going to grab another bottle of water. Looks like hammer time. Hammer time. Alright, so this Dark Confidant is actual insane versus hammer time. Slater, thanks for the follow. Alright, well, I'm definitely bolting Giver. I usually want to hold the bolts for whatever's about to kill me, like play like the Infect matchup, but Giver breaks up that plan, so Abrupt Decay is really, really nice, but I think I want to get the Dark Confidant snowball rolling. So let's play that. Like, we could obviously get hit for like 10 here, but like that's probably just fine. If they want to spew it on an Ornithopter, sure. I was going to say this is a good matchup, but it's not that good, you know? Alright, so I actually really do like Cleansing Wildfire here for like Ink Moths and stuff. Plague Engineer is also really insane versus this opponent. They're playing Luris, so some consideration to Nile Spellbomb. And then, what does Brutality take? Brutality can take, I guess, Path to Exile. It can take the Steel Shapers, the sorcery that searches for a hammer. It's also just a removal spell. Yeah, Bob too good. Bob is very good. This is one of the matchups where I don't mind a Renin 6. It only kills the Mem Knights, though. Do they even play Mem Knights still? I don't know. I'm going to keep all of the 1 mana stuff. I think I'm going to cut 2 off of the top. Maybe a Croaks as well. Just like the creatures that I have to more tap out for. The Last God, thank you for the follow. I do think I want to play all of these cards. I think since I'm keeping all of these, maybe Brutality loses a little value just because this is a lot of a similar effect. Like, Brutalities do all of these jobs just slightly worse. How did we win? The opponent was shook in the fear of the power of our turn 2 Dark Confidant, and they conceded. More realistically, maybe they just didn't have another land. Honestly, I'm cutting this Renin 6. This Renin 6, it seems worse than just all of these. I need 5 more cuts in a minute. Uh-oh. I think the opponent's probably going to be playing Rest in Peace. Maybe not if they're also companioning Luris. But maybe as a hedge versus Rest in Peace, I cut Croxa. I think I'm cutting Croxa before Goyf. They're both bad versus Rest in Peace. Maybe I cut Thoughtseizes. We do have Brutalities to fulfill a similar role. I need 1 more cut. I think I'm going to cut a Spellbomb. If the opponent does have the Rest in Peace, Spellbomb gets a lot worse because we never actually get to draw the card off of it. Dark Confidant stronger than Uro. It costs 33.3% less mana. It's a lot of mana. Yeah, I'm going to run this. Luris means no Rest in Peace. You would be surprised. I've had people reveal Luris on stream. There are recordings of it. People have revealed Luris, and then they've just, like, played a Rest in Peace. I mean, Luris, I guess, still is a card, right? It's still a 3/2 lifelink, but it is definitely worse. It also deals 200% more damage. That is factual. This hand's real good. The only thing we're missing is a threat. Sure. So I'll go Black Leave on 1. Just, like, hold up a bolt. And I'm definitely going to... I think kill stuff on site. Usually I like playing it like the Infect matchup where like I only kill what's important. But Liliana makes me want to really keep the board as empty as possible. So I have to respond to this, right? There's like that 1 mana red instant that like equips. So I think I have to respond to this. If I had a push, I wouldn't respond. Magnetic Theft, yeah. I often remember what the cards do. I just can't remember the names. All right, so I guess I'll Ravine here, hold up a Bolt, and then if they try to Magnetic Theft onto something, I'm not gonna be afraid of the Magnetic Theft this turn because I could just untap and Liliana it. Okay, so maybe they're not playing the red version. Luris to hand. Okay. This is still probably a fine turn to Liliana, especially given that we've drawn another one. Just like have an Edict like saved up on board. I don't think they've got anything hasty going. I guess they could play Bomat Courier, which I haven't seen before. I'll ditch a Mire here. Peatland can sack itself, so I feel pretty decently ahead. We do need to find a threat. We do have a Ravine, so we're not completely missing it. Sure. Why would you have to respond to the hammer instead of the theft? Because the opponent could just not go for the equip with the Magnetic Theft. And then, in response to my Bolt, they'd then save it. And then they've got a 10-10. Or 10-12, I guess. Like, I could just not Bolt so the opponent doesn't go for it. But I want to keep the board empty for the Lilianas. Plural. So they could still have it. They've got Springleaf Drum. So I guess the safest way to go about this would be Liliana Edict, Liliana Edict. If I wanted to be super safe, I could lead on Brutality. Like, I could go for the kill on Luris. And duress the opponent. Or I could just duress the opponent and then we'll know if the coast is clear. Because, like, if I go for the duress on the opponent and the opponent Magnetic Thefts in response, then I can respond. Because, like, I have the way to respond now. They have to make the move on the hammer if that's what the plan is. So I think I'm just gonna go for the -2/-2 and see if they try to theft, and then if they do, I'll bolt the target. And if they don't, I'll just Edict the Ornithopter and keep the bolt in hand. Paladin. Okay, that's dangerous. We've got an Edict in play. Another Paladin. Alright, so there is actually, I think, a pretty good reason to just kill this thing now. If they've got an equipment as their last card, they get to draw 2. And, like, this Liliana in play is going to get to Edict the Paladin anyway. This takes away my only instant speed way to interact, but I think it's better than letting the opponent Divination. Like, they could equip a hammer in response, but then I can just Edict and then Edict again, and their board is still very empty, and I'm very safe. Just another hammer. Alright, well, they're at Metalcraft, so they can equip for free, right? That's how that works. But, I mean, we've got the Edicts to prevent it. And they've got 0 creatures. So I think if I find the land here, I'm just going to activate Ravine and start going to town. But Goyf is even better. Alright, so let's kill that. Yeah, I feel like this is how this matchup should go. Like, I think boarding down on some number of threats is probably fine. As long as you can kill the things that would be trying to kill you, you'll have all the time to find what you need. And I don't think I'm sacrificing peatland. There's not really anything I'm looking for. Like, I've already got the removal spells rolled up. Inkmoth. Dangerous. Inkmoth is actually dangerous, because if they find another Pure Steel Paladin, they could equip to Inkmoth for free, and that's something I can't edict easily. Alright, never mind. Never didn't have it. I guess I'll leave up the peatland, save the life. And I will plus, I'll just ditch other Liliana here. They've been drawing not super well. Oof. Alright, that's dangerous. I guess they get and that, the +1/+1, it gives it like, yeah, there, Shadow Spear. I know what they do, I just don't know the names. Activate. So let me make sure I can't get bones somehow. Trample lifelink. Alright, it doesn't like grant hexproof or indestructible to itself. No, it just prevents me from having it. Yeah. So they can like tap Stoneforge, tap a drum. They're going at Liliana. I mean, I'm just gonna push this thing now, because again, it's something I can't edict. All right, and now I'm completely safe. Should I just kill it this way, or should I kill it with Liliana? I should probably just kill it with Liliana. It's pretty free to do so. Yep, that seems like how that matchup should go. The more I play Ren and 6, the more I regret playing Ren and 6. It's just so bad. Ren and 6 should be a Scoos. I tried Scoos recently, and that didn't feel super impressive either. I think the main reason for that is Scoos really incentivizes you to have lots of green mana, and that makes it really hard on Kroxa. And Kroxa, I think, is one of the better reasons to be playing Jund as opposed to Rock. Like, if Kroxa didn't exist, then like the only I think good reason to play Jund would be like Kolaghan's Command and Bolt. And I don't think Kolaghan's Command is a reason to play an extra color. Bolt is good, but I mean, you've got ways to kill stuff early in black and green. So like without Kroxa, I think I would just not play Jund. I think Rock would be better. I would play Jund because I love Jund and it's like my favorite color trio. But I think from like trying to be competitive standpoint, I think Rock would be better without Kroxa. What if I play Sultai? What would blue add? That's like an actual question. I haven't thought about it enough. Yeah, it's a loop, right? Like X1's unplayable because Ren and 6, but then no X1, so Ren and 6 unplayable. Fallen Shinobi, Drown in the Loch, Ice Fang, Snapcaster. I like the idea of Drown and Snapcaster. I'm unsure that Fallen Shinobi is anything more than a meme. Because like you need a lot for Fallen Shinobi to go right. Speaking of going right, how about that draw step? We could be playing against Blue Moon, so maybe I get Basic Forest with this. Could be Storm very easily as well. It's way more than a meme. In a good way or a bad way. It's not like Vintage Cube where like you hit your opponent with a Shinobi and like every once in a while you just like flip an Emrakul. It's like if you hit someone with a Shinobi, like maybe you Thoughtseize them, right? So we're playing against Esper. That's cool. In a great way because Tron exists. You've hit Ulamog. I mean, that's obviously a best case scenario, and like it's fun and all to evaluate things on a best case scenario. But I think it's better to say what's gonna happen more likely. Like what's gonna be the average impact of the card. Wow, Dark Confidant is the nut draw there. Most of the time, it's a creature in a land or a cantrip in a land. I mean, if your goal is to have a creature attack and be unblocked, and then ninjutsu it for 4 mana, and then you get to like cantrip and hit a land, as you say, like I think that's a fairly conservative like estimation of what's gonna happen most of the time. So like, is that good enough? Like you've unsummoned a creature, put a 5/4 into play. That probably isn't going to connect again if it connects the first time. So is unsummoning a creature hitting the opponent for 5 and cantripping something that we're interested in? I can't say with certainty that it is. Alright, so if they've got Snapcaster, I'll just bolt it out of the way. And I think I'm going to deploy a second threat here. I do want to make Kaya's Guile, or I guess future versions of Kaya's Guile, worse. So that involves committing more creatures. The opponent could have a Verdict in the future. But from what I've seen, a lot of Esper lists have only played like a couple copies at most. So I definitely want to get green. I guess more red is probably fine, so Stomping Ground. So yes. Tarmogoyf. Alright, I'll show the link in between games. Dark Confidant, +1 card so far. So your red and 6 would be drawing cards, but they'd all be land. This one attacks. Jace. And then playing another creature is also a reason to play another creature. Sorry, them knowing they have the Jace is another reason for us to play a creature, because we get to attack the Jace down if they unsummon something. I could throw the bolt at the Jace, but I think I'd rather just hit the Jace with it and keep the bolt in hand. Just like sit back on my Dark Confidant drawing a million cards. Revealing Verdant Catacombs. Thank you, Dark Confidant. You continue to be excellent. It's completely possible that I should be just attacking the opponent because I've got so much burn in hand. But I still think I should use the free card of just attacking the Jace instead of bolting it. And then, so I'll send this at the Jace, which is 3, right? And it's at 3. All right, so then this can go at the opponent. And then I could hold up a Kolaghan's Command, or I could just cast Kroxa. I think I'm going to hold up Kolaghan's Command. Kroxa isn't looking that impactful here. We're far from escaping it. The opponent brainstormed, and if they did find a Verdict, I'm going to want to be able to buy back a creature post a Verdict. All right, I'm gonna try to play it a little bit more quickly too, because I do realize this matchup has the potential of going really long. Dark Confidant triggers again. Thank you. Another Kolaghan's Command. Anything instant speed, I'm pretty happy to see. Just because when the opponent has so many counters, it's something we can do on the opponent's turn. Alright, already we have lethal burn damage. Obviously the opponent has no way of knowing this. And then Kroxa, kind of the perfect thing to cast into open mana. We might want to be wary of a Kaya's Guile as a way for the opponent to gain life. I don't want to spew all of the burn just for them to... They're going to counter draw. I don't want to spew all of the burn just for them to not die. Alright, I'm just going to pass. Again, if they do find a verdict, I'm going to want to Kolaghan's Command it after the fact. Sure. They bottomed. Do I want to start spewing? I don't think I do. I think I'm just going to continue untapping. I could return Kroxa. Yeah, this Bob just absolutely buried them. And like I said, if this Bob were a Renin 6, there's no way. There's no way that we would have killed them on, I guess, turn 6 effectively. Like this Bob is just absolutely insane. Like drawing lands is not the same as drawing spells. Alright, Courser of Krufix, Huntmaster. They are playing Snapcaster, so I'm assuming I want some number of spell bombs. I think I want Brutality before some number of Inquisitions, because like these will hit Cryptic Command, whereas Inquisitions won't, and like Inquisitions already miss on like the bigger things like Jace and Teferi. Not Little Teferi though. Little Inquisition does hit Little Teferi. Let's take this card out. Actually, it's probably fine. I think this is the only matchup where I think it's fine. Like it's not even excellent. It's just fine. I'll leave in the Decay for if they're playing like Stoneforge packages, which some people are. Then maybe I can kill a sword or something. Like it'll also kill Little Teferi. They might be playing Rest in Peace, so maybe there's a reason to hedge and take out some removal. I think I actually do like taking out some number of Tarmogoyfs. Most of the removal kills Goyf, and I don't think this is going to be an aggro matchup. We are the beatdown, but it's highly unlikely that a turn 2 Goyf goes all the way. I think it's going to be more leaning on a card advantage game, as we saw Dark Confidant like by itself pretty much defeated the opponent. Let's shave, I guess, all of the pushes. I don't think these do enough. If we see like a Stoneforge package, then I think there's reason to bring them back in. The opponent might have like Shark Typhoon, which would be a reason to keep pushing, but if that's the only thing Push is doing, I don't think I like it. And we need one more cut. I do actually really like Brutality because it can take the big stuff like Cryptic. Maybe it's Kolaghan's Command. I mean, they play pushes, though, so K-Command probably good. If they were just straight blue-white, I would cut K-Command because the removal would be exile-based. But since they play pushes, the second mode on Kolaghan's Command could just be good. I think since I'm on the draw, I'll shave a Liliana. It's worse versus all of the flash stuff, Shark Typhoon, Snapcaster Mage, and if you want to count Kaya's Guile, even the Spirit. Yeah, this hand's missing a couple pieces, or I guess only a piece. We need a threat. We've got lands and spells that get cast off the lands. Not expecting Colonnades. I don't think they are. I know a lot of people have been preaching against Colonnade. People like Aspiring Spike. And we also it's like Spike specifically has been recommending playing the untapped lands, like the Castle Vantress, and we saw the opponent playing Castle Vantress, so it's maybe possible that they're on that version. Alright, so this might just indicate opt. Sure. Hopefully that doesn't mean that I'm not hitting anything else. That would be sad. Okay, we're hitting something. Alright, so all of these cards are good against me. Which is the goodest? I don't think it's Archmage's Charm. Esper Charm, the mode would be, I guess, I'll discard 2 or they'll draw 2. Enchantment never going to come up. I think I am between Guile and Snapcaster. Snapcaster is going to be the best in the long run. And Guile doesn't have any super relevant modes right now, but as soon as I find a creature, Guile is going to be good. Charm and both charms kind of do something similar in that it's just a 2-for-1. I think I'm just going to take Snapcaster. It's going to be the worst for me long run. And like it also provides the most immediate value because like if we continue to sit here and do nothing, Snap Opt is going to be the opponent's best turn 3 play. Brutality is nice. And that's also a payoff for having taken Snapcaster because Brutality does not take Snapcaster. So let's fire that off now. Yeah, I expect this matchup to be rough unless we're on the play and have Bob on 2, as we did last time. They drew another Charm. Rough. So now I think it's either Charm or Guile. I guess all of these are kind of the same. I think I am going to take one of these, and I guess it's going to be Archmage's Charm. Like, it's not a unique thing in the opponent's hands, but Kaya's Guile is the least impactful multi-for-1, so I think from, like, a raw card advantage standpoint, I just, like, have to take a 2-for-1, even if they do have redundant copies. Yeah, not being able to sneak a Bob under 3 mana is real unfortunate. Because now they've got all this stuff available. And I think I am just going to go ahead and pop the Spell Bomb on my opponent's end step. They'll probably just have me discard 2 here or something. They're drawing 2 with that. Okay. And we don't have anything in play to pressure a Walker, unfortunately. I mean, we do have, I guess, the Pulse. River of Tears. The new printing. If I do this now, they can Snapcaster, but that's always going to be the case. Like, they're just going to hold it hostage forever. I think I'm just going to pop it now anyway. I've got Basic Mountain. I'll get Overgrown Tomb here. Say no. And I still do have good hits. Like, I could find Bloodbraid. Bloodbraid would be best case, I think. Cool. They didn't have Snapcaster, so that's good. And Croaks is really good, too. If they're going to be countering a bunch of stuff, I'm pretty happy that I've got a Croaksa. So let's cast this. Bob, that's really good. I mean, they can Guile it or just counter it. But this at least forces their hand. Like what I would probably do if I were the opponent, I would let Bob resolve and then probably Kaya's Guile to kill it and like exile my yard. I do want to, I think, prioritize getting this Guile gone because now that I know that I've got Croaksa, this exiles my yard and makes Croaksa no longer good. But yeah, that was kind of the best hit possible. Yep, so I guess they're edicting me and maybe making a 1/1. Yeah. It was that or exile my yard. Alright, so the Guile's gone. We get to attack still. Alright, so I mean, all things considered, this is going okay, but the opponent I still think is very, very modestly ahead. Yep, we've got Pulse, but I mean they're untapping 2 mana here, so I guess like we're gonna be pretty behind to like a Leak or a Pulse, or we could just draw more Bloodbraids. I mean, maybe I just do that. Bloodbraid is the best thing to cast into counterspells, though. So maybe I just take the high-risk line of Pulse this thing, We know one of their cards. If they've got Force or a mana leak, it's going to be unfortunate, though. The thing is, like, even if we Bloodbraid, there's no guarantee we get to kill the Teferi. I think I have to pulse Teferi. And then just really hope they don't have a way to counter. Okay. Not good. Alright, well, we get to hit it at least. Or they kill the spirit. They probably want to do this because then Teferi dies to Bolt. How to get good. Step 1, draw what you need. Completely agree. That might not be step 1, but it's definitely a step. Drawing 2 now. I guess they get to untap lands. Alright, so they get to untap with Cryptic available. Which was one of the reasons I took the higher risk line of holding Bloodbraid. Just because like, Bloodbraid is kind of the perfect thing to cast into a potential counter. Glyph not great. Alright, let's Bloodbraid. Really doubt we get to kill Teferi here, but at least we have a good follow-up play. Alright, so I'll attempt to take an instant or sorcery. Oh, they've just got double Cryptic. Well, I'm still taking a Cryptic. Like, I can take Push. They have Revolt. Like, what is this, like, counter tap, maybe? I don't think they want to unsummon. Counter draw. Okay, so they're going to let their Teferi get hit for 3. Is there any argument at all to just attacking the opponent? I don't think so. I still think this game is going to revolve around the Teferi for at least a little while. They took themselves off of Guaranteed Revolt, too. They bottomed. Played an island. Alright, so I think I'm leading on an attack. And then, if nothing else happens, I might just pass. They're purging that. Okay. That's pretty bad. So we could play Tarmogoyf. It's just going to get pushed. I mean, I think the play is still just maybe play Tarmogoyf, hold up Kolaghan's command. Although I guess Kroxa is going to generate more value. It's like if we're just going to get pushed anyway, then maybe Kroxa is the better thing to do. But I think I still actually like casting Tarmogoyf here because like they're going to have the push no matter what. So like maybe we just need to kind of push through it so that way maybe the Bloodbraid can connect. So I think I'm going to begrudgingly play Tarmogoyf full well knowing they have the push. And then hold up Kolaghan's command to maybe fight on their turn. Yikes. Charms. This is probably going to be a draw too. And then, I mean, my Bloodbraid is going to get to resolve if I do it now. So I guess we'll return a creature, shock a Snapcaster. I could shock the Teferi, but I think I want to make sure that this Bloodbraid actually gets through. So we'll return the Bloodbraid, shock a Snapcaster. I mean, I guess the argument is if I find exactly a Bolt and I shock the Teferi, that would be a way to kill the Teferi. But yeah, this Teferi is on its own taking over. Not that they needed any help, but there's a Jace. I'm going to be conceding probably within a turn or two, assuming nothing really insane happens. That is not particularly insane. Alright, let's lead here. Yikes. And we know the opponent has Snapcaster. So we're going to definitely need some help here. There goes Mystic Gate. Not a lot we could hit here that would make me feel confident. Kroxa is not on the list. I mean, they're going to have to counter draw Bloodbraid unless they've got some other answer, or else their Jace is dying. Purge. They're purging it now. So their last card is going to be Cryptic. Then we get to trade for a Snapcaster. I mean, there's reason to say maybe I just don't do this now because I can decay the Snapcaster next turn to maybe get an attack through. But we already know that Cryptic is going to prevent that. All right, I'm pretty comfortable just conceding here. Alright, I'm going to sideboard quickly and then use the restroom. On the play, does Liliana get worth it? Still don't think so. I think I'm just going to run back exactly what I have here, and I'll do that in a moment when I'm back from the bathroom. We knew there was a Cryptic in hand from when we had Brutality'd. Unless I tracked it poorly, which is possible. Alright, so we really want to turn 2 Bob, but we're not going to mulligan aggressively. I guess. Like, mulliganing in this matchup feels so bad. But I mean, they play push and purge, which are pretty clean answers. We've got Kolaghan's Command to buy it back, though. We've got all the basic swamps in the deck, so this looks like Stomping Ground. Come on, deck. Okay, pulling through so far. No purge or push, please. Okay, so far so good. Bottom, okay. So far so good. Sick. Bob triggered. Cool. Cool. Alright, so I guess I get the most information, or the opponent gets the least information for me doing this first. I can do this if the opponent flashes in a Snapcaster as a way to attempt to kill Dark Confidant. I can bolt the Snapcaster before the block. Discard planes, cool. And I'm actually hoping they flash in the Snapcaster here, because then they're not using Snapcaster for a higher purpose later. Okay, so now we could get Kaya's Guiled, which is a 3-mana answer. But if they Kaya's Guile, we have a window to resolve a Huntmaster. Okay, Dark Confidant doing the thing. Revealing the lands. Alright, let's attack. And again, we're building up a good amount of burn just in hand. I think I actually do want to tap out for Huntmaster here. They could have like Mana Leak Archmage's Charm. But if they do that, they're not digging for answers for the Bob with Archmage's Charm. Sit there and said drink some water every once in a while. Yeah, I got you. Bob is so good, I'm telling you, Diamond. I'm telling you. Bob is so good. Lands are not the same as spells. It's a completely different card than Ren and 6. Like, okay, you can counter my spells. It doesn't matter if, because I'm just drawing more of them. Don't need to convince you, I'm glad, because card good. Leak, sure. This is not to say we're going to win. We're far from winning. But so far, Bob has been a 3-for-1. 4-for-1 if you want to count itself. Scratch that. 5-for-1. We revealed Liliana. So this is what they know of. I mean, I'm going to attack again. This is some 2016 shit. I mean, people stopped liking Bob in like 2015. I never did. Bob is my favorite. I mean, clearly I'm like my background is Dark Confidant. And now at this point, since the opponent's got Cryptic Command mana available, I think I'm just gonna hold up these Kolaghan's commands. And second modes on Kolaghan's commands are pretty likely to be just shock the opponent. They're at 10 already. Need to like bounce draw crypt. Sure, man. I mean, I think I'm casting Kolaghan's Command while I know it's gonna resolve. I guess I buy back Huntmaster. It's unlikely that Huntmaster actually nets us a card, just because like it's so easily countered and it's so expensive. Maybe I just have the opponent discard. They're still going to untap with 5 cards, right? Because they're going to discard to 3, draw a card, draw a card. So they'll still untap with 5, which is a good chunk. I mean, it's still probably correct, right? So we'll return a creature to an opponent. Like we're going to have a lot that the opponent needs to take care of. All in part because Dark Confidant drew us 4 cards, in addition to attacking the opponent down to 10 by itself. We're far from winning. Kaya's Guile gains life. You're pretty sure this person isn't a taco? I would be inclined to agree with you. They shocked. Interesting. Do I just throw a bolt upstairs now? I don't think I do. I think I want to keep it as a surprise. Like, I want them to get pretty much as low as they're willing to get on their own. And then we can save the flurry for a single turn. Thoughtseize is excellent. So, I have the mana to Thoughtseize and 5 other mana. So I could Thoughtseize and Liliana and Bob, or I could Thoughtseize and Huntmaster, or I can Thoughtseize and Kolaghan's Command and nothing. I think I do just want to start on Thoughtseize. The opponent didn't do anything. They shocked nonetheless. So I mean, Thoughtseize is probably just a fine place to start. Yeah, they're definitely not a burn taco either. So they've got, wow, they've got a hand, that's for sure. So I mean, this is the kind of hand that burn is gonna hopefully get us across the finish line. So Cryptic is the worst card for us. So I mean, Snapcaster can be literally anything. It's probably Snapcaster. I'm thinking it's Snapcaster. Yeah, this hand is quite rude. I'm thinking it's Snappy though. So here's the remainder. Here's a land. So I mean, I could go for the escape on Kroxa. I mean, that's definitely gonna get purged or countered. I think they would probably counter it before purge it though, right? Because then we'll have eaten a purge and another card in the opponent's hand. I think what I'm actually going to do is I'm just going to play Bob, right? Because they don't have a good answer to 2 Bobs this turn. They've got 5 mana. Like, if they Cryptic the first one, we just play the second one. I guess they could counter one, purge the other. But then they're not using these cards to accumulate advantage, and I still have I still have ways to continue pressing on. So I think I actually do like just double bobbing here. They don't know about the second one. They'll probably just let this resolve given the purge, but then they won't necessarily have the purge for the Kroxa. And I'm at 8, I'm fully aware. You're saying bolts, bolt it. I don't know what KC is. Is that like an acronym? Kolaghan's Command? So I'm assuming this is counter. Counter bounce? Counter draw. Do I bolt now? When we know it's going to resolve, let's bolt now. Shock. Counter draw. Yep. Alright, so this is your leftovers. I mean, you still do have the purge, but you're at 3. Kroxa now means that they either have to counter it or discard a spell. They're at 3. I think worst case now would be Kaya's Guile, because they can have us sack the Bob and go back up to 7. That puts down counters without another land, though. Ooh, Bob is triggering. Bob is triggering. Probably shouldn't let it. Because, like, Bob's going to attack. So, like, there's not really a good window to do this here. I think you should probably just purge it and then hold up an Archmage's Charm. We still have loads of good draws, right? Like, I think there's 2 other bolts in the deck, which just finish it immediately. Yeah, 2 bolts, 4 blood braids. Okay, you do have the Guile. Bummer. Alright, I'll sack this, obviously. Another one. That's pretty good. I think now, since Charm is only down for this turn, I think what I'm going to do now is escape a Croxa, play a Bob, but just continue giving them 2 things to deal with at a time. I think that's the line. And like they could have Leak, so I guess what am I more concerned about getting countered? I think I want to still just lead on Croxa because they don't know about Bob. They could very easily purge this, but then they have to discard something else anyway. I'm gonna leave a Bob for like Kolagon's command targeting. Resolves, yep. Ditch something. I think the way we realistically lose now is if the opponent like top decks as a fairy and can tuck our last thing in play. So there goes a Charm. Here's a Bob. Is that the 4th one? No, that's the 3rd one. Alright, so now they can purge either of the 2. I guess they don't actually have the mana for that. Is this a Drown? Eliminate works. Alright, so then I guess they have to purge this. Hopefully they're not digging out of this. Bob has been excellent, but I think we do much farther without having had that Bob. Alright, so we're gonna attempt to attack. They'll purge it before that happens. But now we have a really good follow-up. They've got only Archmage's Charm, which means we get to Liliana first. And then if it resolves, we get to plus away the Archmage's Charm, and then we could play Huntmaster. We're ditching the Kolagon's command here, which isn't an excellent feeling. They could also just draw 2. But then we've still got Liliana in play and a Huntmaster in play. Yep. We're running them down. Alright, so ditching Kolagon's command. Feels weird. Play Peatland. Play Huntmaster. Alright, that's what I got. What do you have? Oh, they found the Teferi. I did mention this is one of the ways we could lose. This is an epic game. This is a really good way to finish. Yeah, this is exactly how I like my Magic to be. None of this like turn 2 Gristlebrand, turn 2 shenanigans BS. Alright, so I guess we just lead on Ravine plus Liliana. So they've already used how many Archmage's Charms? Oh, there goes a Purge. Alright, so I'm assuming their other card is a way to deal with Huntmaster. So I mean I guess I'll lead here. Damn. That was a big brick. I think I'm just going to go at the opponent. Is this a Snapcaster? Oh no! Or they get to snap opt? That was big. Alright, we could be losing now. Put you to 5. We've got a Ravine in play. They're on empty. I guess they get to opt. Yeah, sure. Big brick. Imagine if that was a Bloodbraid. That would have been game on the spot, pretty sure. More opting, yep. Wow. Good game. It'll be sad to lose, but I mean, at least it was good. What is this? Please no Jace bounce token. That'd be bad. Oh god. Oh god. Crap, 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 crap. They've got one card left. Ravine smacks them to 1. Just continue drawing cards though. Come on, Bloodbraid. Come on, Bloodbraid. We haven't seen one yet. Okay. Okay. I guess I'm going to plus first. No, I think I actually do want the lands in play. I think I want the lands in play, but I want the opponent to discard all that info. All right, I'm going to plus first. We're also 1 off of ultimate. We're also 1 off of ultimate. Something to keep in mind. They discarded a mana leak. All right, let's hit something good. Come on, deck. What is it? Courser? Okay. Okay. Goif on top. Not excellent. So now I have to figure out, do I want to attack the opponent or do I want to attack the Jace? I think I'm attacking Jace. We know we're not hitting Burn Spell next. Alright, that worked. Alright, I am aware of my clock. I'm going to be wary. Alright, now they have Revolt, I guess. So this is a push. Yeah, the clock is low, but this game is ending in a couple turns anyway. I'm feeling okay, time-wise. So they're trying to figure out what to push here. Man, I said Teferi is how we lose, right? There's Teferi. Like, honestly, next turn, if Liliana gets to ultimate, I think I might just, like, split it, like, lands Teferi. Or, like, maybe Teferi and a land. Like, maybe Castle Vantress. Alright, it was a push. Alright. Big draw steps. The opponent's already used many of their Cryptics, many of their Charms, 2 of their Guiles, a couple Snapcasters. They still have some Haymakers in there. Alright, please brick. I had one turn of really unfortunate bricks where I drew Peatland and then that hit a land too. So I think the opponent is due for a brick turn. Yeah, they could tuck Liliana, that's also very true. But at least they're not drawing a card. We also have Ravine in play. Don't forget Ravine. They tucked Courser. What did they find? No. Is this a Jace? What is this? They found another Teferi? This is a close one.
It sounds like it.
Yeah. And they tuck. Bolt. Damn. Oh, we knew we were drawing that. Okay, so I think I am killing Teferi. Because, like, Ravine is lethal on its own next turn anyway. And I want to prevent the additional draw step. I mean, they have 2 things to deal with here. And we know are the card after the one coming up is a Liliana. So now we have an interesting decision. Like what if they have Cryptic Command? Like, if they tap draw, I need to not activate the Ravine, so that way, like, after it resolves, I can activate Ravine. But, like, attacking with one thing also doesn't work, right? Because Cryptic could just bounce the Goif. We need to dodge, like, Kaya's Guile would be bad. Snapcaster would be bad. I guess there are probably no more Teferis. Come on, deck. Just make it easy. Give us a Bolt. Like, it was another Liliana. I mean... Shit. This is close. I mean, I guess I Liliana, right? I guess it's a pretty big disaster. A ripped Settle the Wreckage. I think they have a random card. Let's just go for it. Let's go for it. Like, Cryptic would be bad, but it's still just a redraw. Like, they've got a random card and they have to deal with two things. Only Guile and Cryptic. I guess Guile, Cryptic, Snapcaster. I'll keep them alive. Snap Purge would be like the ultimate feels bad. But if they Snap Purge, they still have to chump. So, like, we're back in the same situation as before, but we're down a Ravine. So, like, they still have to get lucky again. Oh my god, is it actually Snap? Oh my god, they drew a Snap. Cryptic tap draw. Untap with 2 new cards and a Snapcaster in play. Oh my gosh. They're targeting Guile. Are they just gonna, like, Edict me, gain life? They can make a 1/1, I guess?
Every end of your sentence is a question.
I don't know how they use this. Yeah, they're drawn really, really hot. We have 2 bolts in the deck, 3 blood braids in the deck. Those are the things that would, like, make it easy. She's not talking shit. She's just saying that, like, everything I'm saying is a question. It's a guessing game. I don't know what they're doing here. Man, Snapcaster was so bad. Is that how many Snapcasters is that? That's at least the 3rd one. BCS, thanks for the follow. Sack a creature, gain 4. Alright, well, I'm gonna sack the one that I've got to pay a crap ton of mana for. And then I'll attack. I still need you to brick, opponent. I need you to brick for a turn. Come on. I mean, we're still ahead. I'm getting a lot of close-up beard shots. Yeah, I guess. Come on, just brick. You have 6 lands in play. You haven't even drawn that many of them. Come on, just brick. Just brick. Come on, brick, please. I mean, they knew we were drawing Liliana. Oh, is this... Did you draw Cryptic? Scry? Okay. It has to be pushed now? We won! Yes! Whew. Wow. What a way to get the 4-1. Wow, wow, wow. That was an excellent match. So obviously there were a lot of factors that contributed to that victory, but the factor that started it all, this card. Dark Confidant drew us 5 cards in the beginning of that game. Whew. Okay, so I'm going to do a very quick deck tech / wrap up for purposes of the recording, because this has been a long one. So overall, this deck felt very good. I am very happy. I played 4th copy of Dark Confidant before even the 2nd copy of Wrenn and 6. I still don't think Wrenn and 6 is even good enough to be in the 75, which may sound crazy, but it just doesn't do anything. Drawing lands just straight doesn't matter. And the -1, there are like 2 matchups out there right now where, like, it's even mildly relevant. And it just doesn't seem good. Like, if you want a card advantage engine, sure, but I don't think you should play Wrenn and 6 before the 4th copy of Dark Confidant. And I can't play 5, so here's the first copy, Ren and 6. Everything else felt pretty good. We played against a lot of matchups where we really wanted the 1 mana discard and 1 mana removal. Be it creature combo or hyper aggro. We played against Burn and Prowess, for example, and Hammer Time. And we wanted a lot of bolts and pushes in all of those matchups, so pretty happy that I have the 7th 1 mana removal spell. I mean, other than that, like, everything felt good. Like playing for Bob 7th removal spell here, and like playing like those like extra flex spots means you have to make cuts somewhere. And like I said, I just like haven't been very impressed by cards like Seasoned Pyromancer and like the other generic 3 mana threats like Pyromancer, Tracker, even Courser. I don't think they're main deckable cards. But I mean, we did very well, and I think I've proven that theory pretty well. 67 leagues deep. The sideboard looked very good. We didn't bring in the Dimming Spheres at all, but we didn't play against any big mana and nothing like Titan or anything like that. We brought in the Spell Bombs, we brought in the Wildfires, we brought in the Brutalities, we brought in the Coursers, we brought in the Huntmasters, we brought in the Plague Engineers. I really, really like just all of these sideboard cards. I've been using them all, and I've been using them all to pretty great effect. So I think with this configuration, this sideboard card complements it really well. At least with how the format is looking like right now. Damage-based removal is awful. You take your Abzan butt home, boy. Alright, so that's going to be it for this recording. I'm going to hang out for a little bit as soon as I shut it off. So thanks for all watching here on YouTube. I hope you had a good time. I definitely did. And until next time, Jund them out.